TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Oh, I love Lex. Lex has got a ton of heat like I do too, but Lex knows a lot about the business, and he's still got one of the highest, Q ratings they are. Hogan and him are two of the highest Q ratings, and the Q rating is, if you don't know, which I'm sure you do, is just basically, long story short, is if you walk in a room full of people, who's going to notice who first? I mean, Hogan, people, I don't care where Hogan goes, he's going to get noticed before Buff does. So his Q rating would be higher than Buff Bagwell. And same with Lex Luger. He's just, but we clicked, we got along, and we still talk frequently and work out and all that stuff. So Lex is a good guy.
How would you rate Lex as a worker?
I think Lex, like myself, toward the end, was just tired of the BS, man. We just got run over so much, and just, it's like a coach coming in the NFL and saying, you guys stink, you suck, and take that. Now go wrestle. So when you have that kind of atmosphere, I mean, literally, we had a box this big that we had to check in by. You got to the building, and you had to put your number in, and you had to put a fingerprint on it. If you're 1 minute late, you got fined. And they thought, and their small minds, WCW actually thought that was their problem, that the guys being late was a problem, and it wasn't. It was not the problem. There were many more issues than are the guys going to be late or not,
What was the morale like in WCW towards the end of the Bischoff days?
Can't explain it. It was unbelievable. Like I said, just picture Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Sting, myself, and Lex sprinting to check into this little box. Not because of a $500 fine, a $1,000 fine, because the point of where they had us. And that's the morale they had us in. I mean, literally, we're sprinting, all of us, so we're not late. So they can't say, what are you doing, man?
Right.
I mean, not even a window. I mean, not even like a, 1 minute late, or 15 minutes late, 30 minutes late. It was 1 minute. If you're 1 minute late, you got fined. So the morale was just horrible, man.
The thoughts of when Bischoff left the company, and then I guess Bush and Sullivan.
Okay, when Bischoff left the company, I knew right there. I was like, man, this is not good. You just do not take a guy that took you to the top, and then like that, you let him go. You just don't do that. You give him a warning, or you talk to him. That blew my mind. You just don't do that. I mean, for the first time ever, because of Eric Bischoff, WCW was the name that people said instead of saying, "Oh, you wrestle?" or "Oh, WWF." It was all of a sudden, "You wrestle? Oh, WCW?" And Eric took us there,
right.
And you just don't fire a guy or let him leave with that kind of thing, And then Bush came in, and oh God, our faces were just like, this guy's the run our company? But he actually is a hard ass, He really is. But once again, he knew nothing about wrestling. Nothing.
Right.
All he came in to do was just chop heads, And it just didn't work with him either.
Thoughts on when Benoit, Perry, and all those guys left Malenko, the Radicals?
We thought they were crazy. We thought it was wrong, and ended up being a good move for them, I think, But we actually at first thought, they're leaving all this money on the table here. They're going to work 3 times as much up there. I was lost on that, but it ended up being a great move at a great time, But that was once again very gutsy. You know.
What did you expect when you heard that Eric Bischoff bought the company? Did you think it was going to happen, or did, you know?
None of us really knew for sure. There was never a thing that he bought the company. It was always, he was going to buy it.
Right.
So, so we always we were hoping, because we wanted Eric to be our boss. I mean, he was, like I said, he was the only one that take us to the, to the top, so we felt like he was the best one in charge, and nobody, I mean, any guy that gets on this camera from WWF or WCW and says, we're glad that Vince bought WCW, they'd be lying. I mean, there needs to be two places to go. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just the way it needs to be,
I think competition builds the other company.
Absolutely. Too. I mean, go look at the McDonald's. You find a McDonald's, and there'll be a Burger King close by.
Right.
If not next door, because competition brings money.
Yep. When did you first find out that WWF bought the company?
Gosh, I don't even know. It was a couple, the next day, heard about it, my lawyer called me.
Take us through how everything went down at the last Nitro. I don't know if you were there.
I was there. It was real, not much to it, really. I mean, it was weird. People were going around taking pictures.
Right.
So it was kind of I didn't think I'd be sad at all, but it was kind of sad, It was like, God, what's going on here? And what got me was the first time you saw, we tape on the bottom of doorways, like production and things like catering. All of a sudden there was doors that said WWF.
Right.
Whoa, this is it, man. It's done. So it was a weird deal. Everybody had a little bit of a weird look and was curious about what Shane was going to say, and Shane had a meeting that same day, and so.
Did you think you would be part of the new WCW at that point in time?
I had no idea, and then I went home, and then Dad called me. My father called me and said that Vince mentioned my name on Raw, and they had a great pop, So I thought, well, hopefully, they'll use me,
What promises were you made to by the WWF when you first had a meeting, and what were your initial impressions of Vince?
I wasn't promised anything except a guarantee, except a contract. Come work hard. And just there was no promises. But Vince is business,
right.
And period. He's just he's strictly business, and I respect that totally. I mean, Vince McMahon is he's about making money, and that's why they're still in business, and that's why WCW's not. And I respect that.
Were you surprised, I guess, when Vince mentioned your name on the promo from Cleveland?
I didn't. Do you know, to this day, I've still not seen it, but blown away, to answer your question, when I was told. And everywhere I went, God, they talked about it. They mentioned 5 names, and you were like one of the second biggest pop. I was like, well, whatever. I'm just glad he mentioned my name, Thank God,
TitleMatchNetwork.com